Alright, so in a couple of days, by the time of me recording this, it's going to be a few days from the Game Awards. It happens every single year. Some games are being nominated for Game of the Year, some of which I agree with, some of which I don't agree with, but the main thing that I'm anticipating this year are the announcements, because 2023 was a really good year for video games, with releases, announcements, and etc, etc, but the Game Awards is a huge event where developers decide they're going to announce either a new game in a franchise, a new gaming IP in general, or sometimes even a new console. And today, I wanted to go ahead and make a video talking about what I would really like to see at the Game Awards in terms of the announcements, because I think talking about what's going to win the nominations is going to be really boring because we already know what's going to win Game of the Year this year. It's probably going to be Baldur's Gate. So instead of talking about that, we're going to be talking about game announcements, what I would really like to see, what I think is going to end up showing up, and let's begin. First, let's start off with Sega. They already had sent some letters to some content creators, specifically around the fighting game community, saying that they should tune in for the Game Awards, so people have been speculating since then that they're probably going to announce something potentially for the Virtua Fighter series. Now, admittedly, I never played any of the Virtua Fighter games, but it is pretty highly regarded as one of the most important fighting games in all the fighting game genre. And considering that Tekken 8 is coming out, it's going to be a competitor for Tekken 8. And speaking of Tekken 8, there could potentially be some announcements for that series as well, or that particular game, as they could be announcing some future character DLC, some character announcements, or just something in regards to the game in general. Hopefully we'll see something from Sega with Virtua Fighter, because that's what people are speculating, and maybe we'll see something from Tekken. There's another game that I feel has a very high likelihood of showing up at the Game Awards this year, and that's Death Stranding 2. And the only reason why I feel that this might be a possibility is because Jeff Keighley, who's hosting the Game Awards, really likes Kojima and Kojima Productions, and whenever he gets an opportunity to show up anything that Kojima has in store, whether it be a new game or just some big announcement that he has in store, he's going to take the opportunity to do so. And considering that we haven't, as far as my knowledge is, haven't seen anything from Death Stranding 2, whether it be a new trailer or gameplay or anything at all from the game, I think it's incredibly likely that Kojima has something in store, he wants to show it off, and what better place to show it off than at the Game Awards. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he might have actually announced, or like basically showed off a teaser for Death Stranding 2 at the Game Awards. Either that or Gamescom, one of the events that Jeff Keighley is running and hosting pretty much. But I think it's a high likelihood that maybe we'll see something for Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding was a pretty divisive game when that came out a few years ago. I played it, I beat it, and I enjoyed it for what it was worth, but hopefully we'll see something from Death Stranding 2 and Kojima. Could be interesting. Now, admittedly, I know that this seems really unlikely, but just because this is something that I've really been wanting for a while, I'm gonna go ahead and mention it anyways. We've had our Crash Insane trilogy, we've had our Spyro Reignited trilogy, Crash even got a new game, and even Ratchet and Clank got a new game. There are two icons from two different series that haven't been brought back with either remakes or remasters, and that's the Jak and Daxter series along with the Sly Cooper series. These are two series that are very iconic along with Crash, Spyro, and Ratchet and Clank, and it's surprising to me that we still haven't seen either of those franchises come back in any specific way, either with a new game or with a remake a la like the Reignited and Insane trilogy. It's just so surprising that we haven't seen either of these franchises come back. And the reason why I also mentioned how it was incredibly unlikely that this is going to happen is because right now, Sucker Punch is most likely working on Ghost of Tsushima 2, which, again, is another game that I would also really be excited to see at the Game Awards, or maybe potentially in the future we'll see it at a Sony State of Play. And Naughty Dog, I just don't think that they're really interested in making any sort of game like that. I think they're really just focusing on making stuff that has to involve The Last of Us, or maybe another Uncharted game in the future that has to further along with the storyline with like Nathan Drake's daughter, or something that just isn't something like Jak and Daxter. Of course, they could always just pass off to a different studio, like maybe like Bluepoint for an example. Bluepoint could potentially work on a remake series on either one of these franchises, but I just don't think that this is something that's going to happen. I would be really excited if it did, because it's been so many years since I've played it through any of the Sly Cooper games, and all my friend Josh and I ever talk about is how awesome it would be if they brought back Sly Cooper in some way. And people on Twitter are always talking about Sly Cooper and Jak and Daxter, because they're always making both names trending like every other month or so. It would be incredible, but it's incredibly unlikely that it's going to happen. But if it does, either two places that are going to do it, it's going to be either now at the Game Awards or in the future with a Sony State of Play. I'll be really excited, but on the off chance that it just doesn't happen, because it just seems so incredibly unlikely, I am going to be excited if we potentially see something in the future with Ghost of Tsushima 2, because the first game was incredible. It's one of my favorite Sony exclusives of all time. I got the Platinum Trophy and did everything possible in the game, and the storyline opened itself up for a potential sequel in the future. Sucker Punch, if you're working on it, I hope that you have some sort of trailer or teaser to like get people excited, because I definitely am. I want to see more of the storyline with Jin Sakai and whatever else he has in store with as becoming the Ghost. I think it would be incredible. Other than that, just I would really like to see Sly Cooper come back. Just as a very personal thing, I would really like to see Sly come back. Something else that has a pretty decently high chance of showing up at the Game Awards is Wolverine. Now that Insomniac has finally released Spider-Man 2, I think they are finally putting most of their efforts into making their Wolverine game that was announced a few years ago. And I think since then, we haven't really seen anything else. We got the one teaser trailer announcing that they were going to be making the game. Maybe some bits and pieces of information from what I remember seeing from certain people's videos, and that's about it. I think it might be finally about time that they go ahead and release another trailer, maybe showing off some cutscenes if they've been, depending on how much work they've been putting into the game, of course, other than what we've seen so far. I would just really like to see something, because right when they announced it, people were immediately very excited, including myself, because Insomniac has that track record right now of making some pretty fantastic Marvel video games. And I would really like to see what they have in store for this next Wolverine game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, because they did a fantastic job with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2. And I hope to see more. Something that everybody, including myself, have been waiting for is further information regarding the Shadows of the Erdtree DLC for Elden Ring. Now, I'm pretty sure the only thing that we know about the DLC is pretty much just the name. We have no idea who any of the bosses are going to be. We have no idea what type of weapons they're going to add. We don't know what the actual narrative of the DLC is supposed to be about. Some people are speculating maybe it has something to do with Mikola. If you know anything about the Elden Ring lore, of course, then that's something you're going to obviously care about. But I just want more replayability with Elden Ring. It was a game that I replayed a lot of times just to play with different weapons that I didn't even get to try out on my first playthrough. And I want to play more of it, just with more content. Content that's brand new to the game that I haven't experienced yet. Hopefully we get something from Software at the Game Awards. I think it would be one of the biggest things that would happen at the Game Awards, but who knows if they're even going to show up for whatever reason. Hopefully they do. Hopefully we get something, but if we don't, then we'll just have to wait a little bit longer, unfortunately. I think the last thing that I'm really wanting to see at the Game Awards is hopefully, potentially, maybe just something regarding around Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I'm always, waiting and anticipating new games coming out, whether it be mainline games like Kingdom Hearts 4, or even something like Missing Link, which just gives us more information for the story and the lore of the entire series. And that's why I'm kind of thinking that maybe we'll get something revolving around Kingdom Hearts 4 at the Game Awards. Hopefully, and probably not. I might be wrong, and I'm just hoping for the best, but because Missing Link came out recently, maybe there's a chance that they'll show off something. Maybe another trailer, just teasing that, that they're still working on the game, and that, they're just doing something with it besides just not working on it whatsoever, because that would fucking suck. Anyways, that's not really the point. I would really be excited, though, if Kingdom Hearts 4, just anything revolving around it would show up. Maybe it's not too likely. This is just something that I'm really wanting to see, just something that I'm really hopeful for, because the only thing I think we know so far is just the one trailer that we got. I haven't heard anything revolving around the game from anyone, really. I mean, technically I haven't really gone out of my way to really look for much information, but just a new trailer would do a lot, considering that we only have one trailer so far from, I think, last year in 2022. I think that was when we got the trailer. That's all we got, and I just would like to see a little bit more. Maybe see snippets of gameplay. See if they've worked on anything at all. I think that'd be really cool. But again, that's just me getting my hopes up. So that's pretty much where I'm really wanting to see for the Game Awards this year. Ultimately, though, because I'm having my friends over, I'm mainly just going to be enjoying the company and just having fun, see what wins in terms of nominations, see if something wins and they deserve it, or see if something wins and they don't deserve it, because I am pretty divisive in terms of, opinions about what wins the Game Awards, even though it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But hopefully we get to see some really cool announcements, because the Game Awards have done that successfully over the past few years, right? There very rarely does something get announced at the Game Awards and I'm not excited about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more, please be sure to subscribe. If you're seeing this before the Game Awards, let me know what you're most excited to see. Maybe it's probably Metroid Prime 4, because again, people are still anticipating that game and waiting for something to come out because it's been far too long. But if you're watching this after the Game Awards, let me know what announcement got you the most hyped. I would be absolutely really interested to see that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. I'm out. Peace.